On that note, I want to thank everyone for taking your chairs and getting organized. It is a big crowd tonight indeed to hear the contested City Council district debate. I want to thank everyone who turned out. I particularly want to thank the candidates. I would name them, but that would take another 10 minutes, and my colleague would be giving me the red sign on stop. So I trust everyone can see we have 100% turnout. I very much appreciate everyone's commitment. My name is Paul Matthews. I'm the Executive Director and CEO of the Worcester Regional Research Bureau. So we were founded 40 years ago as a 501c3 nonprofit with the express mission of doing objective, data-based research on the public policy issues confronting Greater Worcester in order to inform the public and policymakers. So we very much appreciate everyone being here tonight. I want to thank our partners in these debates and municipal forums, led by my friend and colleague Mike McDermott, the executive editor at the Telegram and Gazette, and his extremely able visual editor, Rick, who's doing a great job taking plenty of photos. And for the benefit of everyone here, the video will be live streamed tomorrow. You can download it, you can view it tomorrow online, free of charge. It's past the subscriber paywall. So I want to thank them. I also want to thank our very generous event host, Mechanics Hall, for the grandeur of this wonderful venue, providing the necessary gravitas for this debate. So I want to invite my colleague, Megan Montaner, up to the podium.
Good evening. It's my pleasure to welcome the Worcester Regional Research Bureau, the Telegram and Gazette, and tonight's candidates to our space. Mechanics Hall in Worcester isn't just a performance venue. It's a living symbol of civic engagement. Opened in 1857 by the Worcester County Mechanics Association, it was created to empower working-class citizens through education, innovation, and public dialogue. Throughout its history, it's hosted powerful voices like Frederick Douglass and Susan B. Anthony, making it a stage for key social reforms. Today, we open our doors to town halls, nonprofit events, and cultural forums that bring the community together, demonstrating how a space can actively support democracy by connecting citizens to causes greater than themselves. We're grateful for the opportunity to host the debates again this year, and we welcome you all to our venue.
Thank you very much to Mechanics Hall. I also want to thank, there's live streams going on, so I want to thank Manny J Media and whoever else is live streaming. I want to thank Unity Radio and Ernie Floyd. I want to thank WCCA for recording these and airing on WCCA TV, and I want to thank the very hardworking staff of Mechanics Hall who make the audio quality all work. So just to cover the ground rules a little bit, both for the audience and the candidates, a lot of the candidates know the rules, they've done this before, but for everyone involved, I'm going to ask, please respect each other, and please provide everyone with the opportunity to be heard. So I recognize there's a lot of very strong feelings in the room tonight. Please do not crowd out candidates' speeches or comments or remarks. The whole point this evening is to hear what they have to say in order to inform the electorate. So please do let them speak. Secondly, please don't have signs or anything that would prevent people from behind you from seeing. That obviously sort of defrays the whole point of being here. I also want to just share that we do need to maintain decorum, and we do need to allow them to speak. So please don't disrupt the proceedings. It is a private facility, so they're very kind to allow us to use it, but we can ask you to leave if you're disruptive. I don't want to have to do that. I trust everyone in the audience just wants to hear from all the candidates. In terms of the debate format, this has been shared with the candidates in advance, but for you, those of you in the public, I want to stress, number one, the questions from the moderators. I'm going to introduce them shortly. Please know they are not to blame for the questions. The Research Bureau staff is. So if you have any issues with the questions, whether you're candidates or audience members, you can take it up with myself and my colleagues. They're very kind to read the questions we prepared. There's going to be 2-minute opening statements from each candidate. There's going to be 14 questions and responses. So there's going to be 4 all questions. Each candidate will have 1 minute to answer. There's going to be 10 questions with 90 seconds to answer. And then there'll be 1 minute closing statements from each candidate. So my colleague Josh and I will be over at what we fondly call the timing table, holding up signs, letting the candidates and the public know. Josh is doing samples of 30 and stop. I think he means stop for the candidates, not me, but who knows. When we get to the red stop sign, that means candidates, you do need to stop. And I will stand, and then our moderators will proceed to bully you into stopping. On that note, I want to thank and introduce our moderators. Pete Dunn from the Greater Worcester Community Foundation, and all these are Worcester residents, by the way. Pete Dunn from the Greater Worcester Community Foundation. Viviana Abreu Hernandez, head of the Mass Budget and Policy Center, and Jim Leary, founder of Leary Public Affairs, LLC. So on that note, let's have the honest and fair and unfettered exchange of viewpoints that Worcester voters deserve, and I'm happy to turn it over to my friends and colleagues who are moderating.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Pete Dunn from the Community Foundation, not to be confused with Peter Dunn from the city. So those of you on the council or to be on the council, that's clarified for you. First, we're going to start with opening statements, and each of you has 2 minutes. And the first candidate to speak is Tony.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me here tonight. I want to thank the Research Bureau, the Telegram, for putting this on. You know, it's important for people to hear people's views. My name's Tony Economou. I'm running for District 1 City Council. Born and raised in District 1 my entire life. I've lived there. My kids graduated. I graduated Worcester Public Schools, Worcester High Schools. I'm fortunate enough to have lived in the district, know the district, and have served the district for 6 years in the 2011 to 2017. And one thing that I've learned from being on the council before, it's all about respect, listening to your constituents, working to help your constituents, and helping them solve the problems that they're dealing with. And I can tell you, if I'm fortunate enough to be elected, I will continue to pick up where I once served and offer that opportunity back to the people of District 1. We need to grow our business base. We need to get West Boylston Street up and running again. As other parts of the city, we need to get Burncoat High School done. There's a lot that needs to get done, especially when it comes to our streets and sidewalks. The number one thing that I've heard from people at the door, the number one thing, was to bring common sense back to City Hall in a manner that we can work and get things done. The second highest thing I've heard was our streets and sidewalks. They're deplorable, the worst they've ever been. And I can promise you right now, I will do both. I will work with you to make sure that those items get done and get done in a manner where we have accountability, excuse me, accountability, and we hold the utilities and ourselves accountable. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. For the next opening statement, Keith, you're up next for 2 minutes.
Hey everyone, thanks for being here tonight. Thanks for organizing this debate so we can talk about the ideas that would move this city forward. I'm Keith Linares, running for City Council District 1. I grew up working class in a small town called Wareham, a town known mostly for its cranberries, and watched my parents work hard to make rent while saving to buy their first home. Their work ethic inspired me to become a first-generation college student. In 2013, I fell in love with my wife, a youth worker and community organizer in Green Island. And through loving her, I fell in love with Worcester. We are now owners of a historic home in Hammond Heights, raising our 3 daughters here. Raising our kids made me think deeply about what kind of example I want to set for them. And as a comfortable, middle-class dad, I have a duty to use our privilege to drive positive change. That's why I decided to run for City Council. I've knocked on thousands of doors in District 1 and have had many wonderful one-on-one interactions with DPW workers, police officers, educators, people in government, and neighbors from every background imaginable. What I hear across generations and class divides is deep skepticism about our politics and who our politicians truly serve. Residents accuse leadership of showing favoritism to certain areas, cozying up to developers and big landlords, and openly use words like cronyism and corruption to describe the people who are in power, which is sad. Residents want to see counselors who are honest, show integrity, who are accountable. They want to see candidates that truly believe we can actually use our local government to make people's lives better. We are a city and not a business. Instead of being afraid of change, we must be working now to make Worcester affordable for everyone. We can keep people in their homes and off the streets. We should be fighting for small local businesses and good jobs. We can tackle the intertwined crises of homelessness, mental health, and substance use head on. We can make our streets and sidewalks safe for everyone. If you care about tackling these challenges head on and making this city the best it can possibly be, I am the only reasonable choice for District 1. Thank you.
Thank you, Keith. Next up for an opening statement for 2 minutes is Candy.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for coming out tonight, and really want to say thank you to my family and all my supporters in District 2. I'm proud to represent the hardworking families and the neighborhoods of District 2. During my time on council, I focused on delivering real results that improve people's lives. Working side by side with residents, we were able to clean up Indian Lake, restoring it as a place for families can once again enjoy it and be proud of it. Today, we have driven $355 million in new housing development during my tenure on the council, bringing 1,657 units online, with 236 of them being affordable. That giving working families a fair shot at staying in our city. We've also, through the senior work-off program, we have 20 seniors now living on fixed incomes who saved over $2,000 on their property taxes this year, because our seniors certainly deserve to age in place with dignity. I also took on tough fights, authorizing the ballot question requiring our colleges to pay their fair share, and leading efforts to institute institutional zoning here in the city of Worcester, ensuring that large institutions are true neighbors who give back to our community. We watched and we seen what took place with a couple of our institutions, taking 2 hotels off the tax rolls, as well as taking another Rotman's Buildings off the tax rolls, which it was a significant hit to our city of Worcester. So I believe that the institutions should be given back to this city, and I was very happy to author both of those, along with having my colleagues sign on to them unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you, Candy. Next up for an opening statement for 2 minutes is Robert.
Hi, everyone. My name is Robert Bellata. Thank you all for coming out tonight. Thank you for the Worcester Research Bureau and the Mechanics Hall for hosting us. Again, I'm running for District 2. This is my second time running. I'm a lifelong District 2 resident, proud graduate of Worcester Public Schools, Lakeview, East Middle, North High School. Graduated from Worcester State College in 2010 with a degree in a bachelor's degree, urban studies and communications. I'm running for city council because I believe Worcester is growing, but a lot of families are being left behind. This summer, my campaign team and I knocked on over 4,000 doors, talked to over 1,000 people on the doors, and myself over 1,500 phone calls. And what I've heard time and time again from residents across District 2 is affordable housing, homelessness, and streets and sidewalks. I think as Worcester's growing, we can do a better job of making sure the city grows in a way that benefits us all, that ensures that seniors can age in place, that young families can buy their first home, that we all feel safe in our communities and on the roads. I'm really proud of my work as a disability rights and housing advocate. I was part of the Worcester Together Affordable Housing Coalition that really pushed for inclusionary zoning to be brought here to Worcester. I also fought to bring an accessible housing requirement to the city's Affordable Housing Trust Fund, which so far we have over 70 affordable, accessible units in the pipeline that are going to benefit seniors, people with disabilities, folks on fixed incomes. I'm also really proud of my work as, like I said, a disability rights advocate, and making sure that people of all abilities and backgrounds can call Worcester home and continue to call Worcester home for years to come. So, like I said, my name is Robert Bellata, running for District 2. I've done a lot of work in the community and would love to take that next step and serve to bring, true equity to our small businesses, all of our neighborhoods, and making sure, again, that we can all grow with Worcester. So thank you.
Thank you, Robert. Next up for an opening statement for 2 minutes is John.
Thank you and good evening. My name is John Frasolo, and everything I say tonight will be based on facts. So please feel free to fact check me. I love public service. It's in my heart. I've been out of office for 12 years, and I miss it. I've stayed active, helping neighbors, working on issues, and staying involved in our community. While others leave public office and you never hear from them again, I've never stopped serving or delivering results for the people of District 3. I'm a lifelong resident of Worcester, born and raised on Union Hill, and now residing for the last 35 years on Dolly Drive off of Massasoit Road. 3 generations of my family call this area home. I know these neighborhoods like no one else. Every street, every family that's made this community what it is. I have a grandson and another one on the way. And like many of you, I want them to grow up in a city that's affordable, safe, and proud of its neighborhoods. There's a stark difference between me and my opponent: experience and understanding. I know how City Hall works, and more importantly, how to make it work for you. I've done it before, and I'm ready to do it again. This campaign isn't about politics. It's about results, respect, and responsibility. That's what I've always stood for, and that's what I'll bring to City Hall. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. Next up for opening statement, Robert Bozzella.
Good evening, everybody. I want to thank the Research Bureau and the Telegram for hosting this candidates forum tonight. And it is wonderful, and I mean wonderful, to see all these people that are here to be involved in city government, not only tonight but going forward. My name is Rob Bozzella, running for District 3 City Council. Outside of going to college and graduate school, I've been a lifelong member of the east side of this community, including District 3. Why am I running for office? Because of public service. If you look at my body of work and you look at my resume, you'll see for the last 40 years, I have worked relentlessly for the people of the city of Worcester. And I'm not done yet. If I'm elected, I will be relentless in advocating for the needs of everyone in District 3, especially knocking on over 2,000 doors and getting firsthand, like Tony was talking about, what the residents of District 3 want. Specifically, District 3. These are my issues. Affordable housing, like everybody else. The issues that are facing District 3 mirror the other districts as well in most cases. Affordable housing is one of them. There are 2 signature projects proposed to come into District 3. One across the street from Roosevelt School and the old St. Vincent's Nursing Dorms. I am in favor of those projects right now, and I hope to be, because I want to see affordable housing for our seniors and our citizens. However, whenever something comes into our city, it has an impact on the neighborhood. So I need to be at the table when these projects come in, because I want to know what impact it's going to have. Secondly, public safety. We need safe streets, safe neighborhoods, safe homes, and safe schools. In order to do that, we need the support of our Worcester police. We need to work together to make sure in a community policing role that we are going to see what our mission should be about, which is attracting people to Worcester to want to live here. And there's much more. I guess I have to stop. There's much more that I'll say as we go along. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. Next up for an opening statement is Ted.
Good evening. My name is Ted Costas. Is this on? Mm-hmm. Thank you. I was going to read something, but I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to talk from the heart. I grew up in Worcester, District 4. I lived here most of my life. I still live in the house that I grew up in. off of Russell Street on Blossom Street. But what I've seen in the last, I ran 2 years ago. And it's funny. Well, it's not funny. It's ridiculous because I'm running on the same premises that we did 2 years ago, lowering taxes for real estate and property, real estate taxes for residential and commercial. We still have crime on the street that we're not really working with the police department and respecting them to help them get some of the drugs off the street because it's out of control. Affordable housing, we don't have enough. I have a history of business for 40 years. I've worked for myself. I know how hard it is to have a small business. I did some real estate. I did development. I can work with developers, get them into the city, make a good deal, try not to give the TIFs away because I'm getting a little tired of that too because they're taking advantage of it, and get things done. We need to help our district. It needs work. There's lovely people, and there's a lot of things that I'm not really happy seeing. With that said, I could go back to reading what I wrote, but that's not from my heart. My heart is I want to do the work. I can do it. I will do it. I promise to do it, and I want to bring back real leadership to this council, along with using some common sense because they don't have any right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Ted. Next up for an opening statement is Luis.
Thank you, and good evening, everyone. My name is Luis Ojeda, and I'm the District 4 City Councilor. I'm proud to be here tonight as I seek a second term, and I want to take a moment to reflect on what we've accomplished and what we can continue to build together. Over the past term, I've worked tirelessly alongside the city manager, city staff, and community partners to tackle some of the most pressing issues in our neighborhood. One of the projects I'm most proud of is helping to establish a women's shelter, a safe, supportive place that now provides stability, services, and hope to more than 60 women in need. That's real impact. That's what working together achieves. I also have taken time to research ways that we can better support our unsheltered, including visiting the Yawkey Resource Center in Boston to learn firsthand how we can build similar, effective support systems right here in Worcester. And I'm proud to say that we have been working on a location here in Worcester, and we are taking the necessary steps to be prepared on opening day and provide as many services to individuals in need. District 4 has long faced challenges with drug activity and unsafe environments, but together we've worked to make them places where people feel safe in their neighborhoods and can raise a family. This could not be done without the collaboration of the Quality of Life team, Worcester Police Department, Inspectional Services, Worcester 311, and other agencies. We've introduced traffic calming measures across the district, temporary and permanent speed humps to better lighting, improved signage, and curb extensions to make it safer for pedestrians to cross. These are small but meaningful changes that save lives and strengthen trust in our local government. We are also working to make streets and sidewalks safer with input from residents during walk audits, organized neighborhood cleanups, surveys, and more. Being a council is about building relationships, listening, and learning. I've worked hand in hand with residents by organizing neighborhood meetings, again, cleanups, and bringing people together. So my goal is to work with you side by side as a district councilor. I've done this work prior to becoming a councilor, and I'll continue doing this work. This isn't easy work, and I understand that, and we all understand that. But I will continue to learn, and what I learn, you will learn, and we will rise together. Thank you.
Thank you, Luis. Next up for an opening statement is Jose.
Good evening. My name is Jose Antonio Rivera, candidate for City Councilor here in District 5. I moved to Worcester on my own 36 years ago at 16 years old, aspiring to be a world champion boxer. It may seem like a pipe dream to some, but with the support of mentors and the people of Worcester's support, I worked tirelessly to make that dream come true and become a 3-time world champion boxer. That experience taught me many lessons, hard work and the importance of community. During that time, I lived on Franklin Street, right across from City Hall. I was always curious about what goes on inside that building, and later finding out all the wonderful work that goes on inside City Hall inspired me to pursue running for city councilor once my boxing career was over. I'm grateful to my wife who understands my passion to serve and give back to my community and is willing to support my efforts. I want District 5 residents to know that I will be honored to be your district councilor and customer service representative. I will bring my work ethic, knowledge of the city of Worcester and Worcester County, which I've lived in and experienced over the last 36 years. I will lead with civility, decorum, and respect, understanding that the seat I will occupy on Tuesday night meetings is not my seat, but it's yours. The District 5 residents. And I just want the candidate to, and also would be that I will be the candidate you choose to represent you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jose. Next up for an opening statement is Atel.
Thank you to the organizers and moderators and to everyone here. My name is Etel Hajiai, and tonight I'm asking for the privilege of your support to be re-elected for a third term as your District 5 City Councilor. My time in office has been defined by caring, showing up, and acting. When you elect your district councilor, you deserve someone who treats your concerns, whether it's a pothole or a big policy idea, like it's your own problem. I've responded to more than 400 resident issues through phone calls, emails, and neighborhood meetings. And by listening to and supporting our neighborhood leaders, I've consistently balanced the needs of our district while shaping citywide policy on safe streets, housing, homelessness, and responsible development. The challenges we face in District 5 aren't abstract. They're sitting right next to you. It's the senior next door, agonizing over whether to fill a prescription or pay the heating bill this winter. Families are being squeezed by rising housing and grocery costs. The immigrant-owned small businesses that are at the heart of District 5, whose customers are too afraid to leave their homes to walk through their doors. And in these anxious times, electing a leader who can respond to your concerns with compassion and determined action matters. When disaster strikes like the devastating fires at Washington Heights, or when you're struggling with quality of life issues, a problem property next door on Timrod Drive, or a trash litter sidewalk on Abbott Street, I don't just send an email, I show up. I know that when you call me, you're looking for me to roll up my sleeves and get to work. Though we may not see eye to eye on every issue, I will serve you as I always have, with empathy, honesty, and a commitment to doing the hard work of holding the city accountable to its residents. If you elect me on November 4th, you choose a district councilor who not only gets your street plowed on a Monday morning or shows up to you for after a devastating fire, but truly sees you and deeply cares.
This question is for the District 1 candidates. For Tony and Keith, starting with Tony, you'll have 90 seconds each to answer. How should the city address the shortage of shelter beds and wraparound resources for its growing homelessness population?
Well, I'll go back to when I was on the council before. City Manager Michael Bryan was tasked with this issue at that time too, and he had sent out a force from the city to ask those who were homeless or out panhandling, how could we help you? How can we help you in the sense of, do you need services for mental illness, for alcohol, drug abuse? Half of them took it, half of them didn't want to be bothered. I think right now the way our organizations in the city, our nonprofit organizations who provide those services, I think they need to collaborate together to create a plan to bring it forward. Now, when I sat on the Human Public Health Subcommittee, they all worked in their own silos. The left didn't know what the right was doing. It'd be nice if they could get together, build a complex where they could have the services in an order that met the needs. You know, whether it was intake, housing, drug abuse, alcoholism. That's how we can further better that situation throughout the city, in my opinion.
Yeah, so I just came from the North Lincoln Street neighborhood meeting, part of the district where this problem is especially acute. I think getting a perspective from the residents that live there and deal with it on a day in, day out basis is crucial to solving the problem. The root causes of why people are out on the streets are myriad. We have lots of local groups that have expertise in this area, And I would defer to them for specific guidance on policy. But most folks are out there because they can't afford an affordable place to live. Sure, there are people out there that, maybe they feel like they don't have a safe place to go, that the beds that are available aren't safe enough. But the number one way that we can address the problem is making sure that there's enough affordable housing in the city. I'm sure that'll come up in other questions, but the ways that we can tackle that are through things like inclusionary zoning, building more housing, focusing on keeping homes affordable. But we really need to build up on the work that people have been doing already. Maddie Castilla did good work for the Department of Health and Human Services that we need to piggyback on, and just continue building on the knowledge that we've accumulated and partner with our state and local representatives.
Thank you.
Good evening, candidates. I'm Viviana Abreu Hernandez, and I want to thank you for running for office. I think this is important for our democracy. So thank you so much. So this question is for Robert Bilota. You're going to have 90 seconds to respond. And Candy, you're going to have 90 seconds to respond to Robert Bilota's answer. The city started a program to clean up Worcester. Do you think these efforts should be expanded? And if so, how?
Yeah, I think, trash is an issue in Worcester. It's been an issue for quite some time. Living by Grafton Hill and driving up and down Grafton Street often, the trash in that area has been very concerning, and it's a concern across the city. So it's great to see the Woo bins. I think any issue in the city takes an investment, and I think it's worth investing more resources into that. That being said, we see the results that not everyone, litter is still going to happen. But I think it's worth pursuing and worth investing resources into, whether it's the Woo bins, whether it's maybe some suburb programming to improve youth work. But I think, also opening up more times where it's free to drop off bulk waste, I think would be really helpful. It's a challenge that's going to take some, I think, long-term planning. I know that Worcester has the zero waste draft plan that they just put out. I know a lot of these priorities are part of the Worcester Now Next plan as well. So I do think it's worth expanding and looking into and seeing how we can partner with community organizations and neighborhood groups to make sure that our streets stay safe and clean.
Thank you, Robert. Candy, your response.
Yeah, the city of Worcester, the city manager, right after his evaluation, put the clean team into effect, which was for 1 month, and then he expanded it to the second month because obviously 1 month wasn't good enough. After that has taken place, we've learned that still is not enough. So what we are doing is every weekend, the Department of Public Works will continue to do the work that they've been doing for the last 2 months. That's a piece of what we need to do. The other piece that needs to happen in the city of Worcester is we sweep our streets twice a year, which obviously a city our size is not big enough. So there's been a lot of conversation with the manager about street sweeping much more often. So we need to expand the DPW in the areas of cleaning our streets, and that has to happen because this city, as I said to the manager during his evaluation, that the city is filthy. So we've come a long way in 2 months, but I suspect we'll look a lot better in another couple of months.
Question 3 is for everyone on the panel. You'll each have 1 minute to respond. I'll call on each of you, and then you'll have 1 minute, and then we'll go to the next candidate. The question is, how do you plan to navigate recent tensions and heated debate at city council meetings? And first up is John Persolo.
Well, I would start with, I've knocked over 7,000 doors. And I have to say, a lot of the people that I come in contact with told me that they were embarrassed when We were on national TV, TV for 3 straight nights in a row. If I was on the council when that took place, I would have asked the chairman, the mayor, for a recess, and I would have went up to the rostrum and spoke to him and asked him to take order, to put the meeting back into existence, and you need to clean the protesters out of the chamber and go on with the meeting. So that's what I would have done, and that's what people I came in contact with also agreed with.
Thank you, John. Next up for 1 minute is Keith.
Yeah, we're a big, diverse city, so it's inevitable that there are going to be tensions and things we disagree on. I think especially in light of everything that's going on at the national level, there are lots of people that feel unsafe. There are lots of people that feel like they are unheard. If you ask me what the root cause of the tension in this city is, it's our leaders. They don't do a good enough job listening to the constituents that they serve. So our residents feel the only way that they can get heard is to go down to City Hall and show up and be loud. And sometimes that's the only way to get these people's attention. So for me personally, I can work with anybody. I'm a bridge builder, but we need to be listening to our constituents, and elected officials should not fear the people that they represent.
Thank you, Keith. Next up for 1 minute is Robert Pizzella.
So, as we all know, we can agree to disagree, both the council with the general public that comes before them to present issues. But when it gets to a point where it becomes heated and it becomes tenuous, we have to say this is our responsibility. I'm going to be a different cat on the council. I'm a firm believer, based on my experience working in bureaucracies throughout the years in task forces. City government can only do so much. A lot of problems come before the council, and they do the best they can to navigate the problems that come before them. But there are times when these complex issues come before the council that the answer's not there on a Tuesday night or the following Tuesday night. It's very, very comprehensive. So what I have had the experience of doing and being a part of is task forces, bringing people together from the community in their respective niche that can all think critically through with the problem that's facing them. And I've seen a couple of issues come before the councils, some groups asking for $500,000. I mean, I know I have to stop, but hopefully I'll talk further.
Thank you, Robert. Next up is Ted for 1 minute.
The purpose of the city council is to conduct business, municipal business only. Unfortunately, yes, there are tensions going on in the world, but it's not the place. People can protest, but it shouldn't be in the council chamber because of the fact that nothing's getting done. The last, 6 months ago? Yeah, we made the national news, but what got done in 3-4 months? How many times we had to cancel the meeting? Because of disruption. I get it. I'm not happy with a lot of things going on in the world either, but the business of the city council is municipal business only. There's nothing they can do for you, but you can contact your congressman, and that's what he's there for, or your state rep. That's what they're there for. All right? Thank you.
Thank you, Ted. Next up is Atel for 1 minute.
Part of our job as elected leaders is to listen to our constituents, whether we vehemently agree with them or we agree 100%. I think it's part of my job as a district councilor and somebody that represents my district at city council to listen to my constituents when they're upset. And a lot of people that have come to city council are upset because they don't feel heard. It's our job to listen. It's our job to respond. It's our job to make sure that everybody's dignity is respected. And that begins with elected officials, respecting each other's life journeys, respecting each other's dignities and identities. And that's what I will continue to do at City Hall. I will never turn my back on any community members who come to City Hall. It is their constitutional right to protest. It is protected freedom of speech. And yes, we absolutely have to do business. But let me tell you, the business that hasn't got done on City Council is when councilors vote against straightforward measures supported by the fire chief to protect our residents and firefighters from fires.
Thank you, Atal. Next up for 1 minute is Candy.
Yes, I want to agree with one of the candidates up here. Yes, it was embarrassing. We were all over the national news. And not only here in this country, but in other countries. And again, City Hall on Tuesday nights is about conducting the business of the city. And I think that, you know, we need to do a much better job in doing that. And I think that we have gotten to the point that we are doing just that. During this time, I had more calls to me about, that's
rude. Want a cough drop? Come on, dude. Not cool.
And again, this is exactly what happens at City Council. You can't get the business done. And again, when residents are calling you on a daily basis, telling you that we need to get the business done, that is what you're elected to do, is to get the business done. And absolutely, we should listen to our constituents. Thank you.
Thank you, Candy. Next up for 1 minute is Robert Pilata.
Absolutely agree with a lot of the statements that have been said earlier tonight. You know, the business of the Worcester City Council is Worcester issues. And I absolutely agree with that. And I think, you know, it starts with councilors showing respect on and off the council floor. It starts with, I think, residents showing up and not berating people as well. I think, you know, respect, it's a two-way street. But absolutely, we need to focus on the business of Worcester residents. I do want to point out that several issues repeated more than one meeting because issues were held. These issues were prolonged because of lack of leadership on council that couldn't handle things in one night, take a vote, and move on. That's why things progressed more and more, and that's why advocates kept showing up. So I'm not afraid to work with folks on complex issues, but I absolutely agree that the business of the City Council is Worcester business.
Thank you, Robert. Next up for 1 minute is Luis.
I guess what I'll start off with saying is that we need to remember that the city business is the people's business. And we need to understand that. So we get elected to do the work for the people. And it's important for us to share with them and be there for them to show that we understand that they're hurting. And there may be things that are outside of our city government and outside of our control, but we stand beside them. We want to hear from them. We want to support them because we are in these seats because of them. So I encourage people to come in and speak. I would love more people to come in to some more of the committee meetings where the work is really done, instead of attending just the Tuesday night meetings. It's great to see people there on Tuesdays, and I appreciate it. But the work can be really done at the committee meetings. I would love people to attend that. And I support you coming in on Tuesday nights and sharing your heartfelt concerns on what's going on in your neighborhoods and what's going on at home and the countries you come from, because Worcester is a welcoming city. Thank you.
Thank you, Luis. Next up for 1 minute is Jose.
Thank you. I agree with a lot that was said here tonight, and I'm not going to be repetitive, so I'm going to keep it short and sweet. To navigate tension in the city council meetings, we do that with civility and a willingness to listen. I think with decorum and respect for the chamber, as city councilors, we can agree to disagree, but we have to lead by example.
Thank you, Jose. And last, for 1 minute, is Tony.
Thank you. So myself, I've always been a person who will return your phone call, email you back, text you back, or I'll show up at your door to help you. You've reached out to me, I'm going to reach back out to you. I do it with respect, and I expect the same respect back. As it pertains to the city council floor, I can tell you right now that the residents of District 1, they want us talking about city issues, not national issues, not international issues. They want city of Worcester issues, and I vow to you that that is what I will be doing. Being an activist on the city council does not work, because you're not working in the best interests of your city.
Question number 4 is for the District 3 candidates, John Frisolo and Rob Pizzella. You'll each have 90 seconds to answer the question, starting with John. When a small business closes, residents often say that the city didn't do enough to support them. What would you do to support small businesses?
Well, what I've done in the past is be involved in the neighborhood. Anybody who knows me knows that since I started in politics in 1999, I've reached out to small business and also to the residents. I believe we need a lowest residential tax rate because I think that our homeowners and renters cannot afford these larger than normal increases. And in so, they'll have more money to spend for our businesses. Small business in District 3 thrives very well, I think. And it's because people in District 3 go and support their local businesses. And I encourage that. So I'll continue what I've done since 1999, and I'll work with the business owners. They know me, they know my phone number, they call me now, even though I'm out of office, when they have issues, and I'm there for them. And I'll continue that. Thank you.
Thank you, John. And Rob?
Sure. You know, there's going to be continued dialogue and disagreement about the tax rate in our city, commercial, residential. By the way, I'm for the lowest residential tax rate in this city and district, unlike what my opponent has been saying when he's going to 7,000 doors, that he said, I am not. And I have something in writing later on that I will show how much of a lie that is. In regards to small business, we got to support them. Mom and pop stores come all the time into our community, and a lot of them aren't successful. And we have to make sure not only to advertise and make sure they're being patronized, but maybe small business loans. I know I'm not, thinking something that's brand new here, but we have to continue to show support for our small businesses because they're the ones that are the backbone of our city and our neighborhoods.
No chance to respond to that?
Nope. Question 5 is a 90-second response question, first for Ted, and then response from Luis. The question is, housing affordability has been a top concern in recent years with the city adopting a number of policies. Are there additional housing policies that you believe should be discussed in Worcester? First up is Ted for 90 seconds.
So policies. So far, those policies haven't been working, have they? We're not building enough. We need more. Anybody heard about supply and demand? All right. What happens when you don't have enough? Prices go up, don't they? When you have more, they start to come down. And not only that, because you're scaring developers out of this city because you got a $28, 61-cent commercial property tax rate. It's ridiculous. They pay $14 in Auburn, and they're a town. This is why you're not getting affordable housing as quickly as possible. The projection is 10 years. Do you have 10 years to wait for an apartment to be built? I think not. And there's a lot of people out on the streets, and they need help, and they need to get into an apartment of some sort, a room, a one-bedroom, two-bedroom. They're out there. They need help, and we're not doing anything. The only shelter that opened up was the RMV during the winter month, 3 months. What do they do the rest of the year? Take a walk down the railroad tracks along Southbridge Street, behind the tracks. Can we get those people in an apartment? No, because we're not building it fast enough. And think about it. Think about how invested is this city council right now helping these people? Nothing. And I don't care what anybody says, not enough.
Thank you, Ted. Now for 90-second responses, Luis.
Do you mind repeating that? Sorry. Can you repeat the question?
The question is, housing affordability has been a top concern in recent years with the city adopting a number of new policies. Are there additional housing policies that you believe should be discussed in Worcester?
Yes, first of all, let's start with the amount of work we've done. We've developed more than 400 units of new affordable housing, and it's actually underway with hundreds more. There's been over 1,400 affordable housing units created or preserved since 2015. Over 1,600 affordable housing units in the pipeline to be created or preserved. So we're doing the work, and it's taking time. But there are places in our city where I feel as though we can look into provide more housing, not just focus on the District 2s, the 4s, and the 3s. It's to share that Worcester's growth and when it comes to developing. It's also working with the developers, the work I've done. I've met with developers. I've asked them to, work on looking to see if they could do affordable housing. I've talked with developers on some empty lands that they own, properties that they own, to build housing, once again, that's affordable, but also bringing the residents in. We have a lot of developers that will come into our city and just build whatever they want and not include resident buy-in. And I think that's the most important thing. We cannot change what our city looks like just based on the housing. We don't want to eventually become a bedroom community. We want to make sure our residents are thought of, are taken care of, and we give them the opportunity to have say in their neighborhoods where these buildings are being met. As far as the policies go, I mean, those are some serious conversations that we have to be more creative and have some more ideas and working with our economic development team as well. Thank you.
Question number 6 is for all of you. You will have 1 minute to answer. One of the most important decisions that the City Council debates each year are local property taxes. How will you approach the annual dual tax rate decision? Keith, we start with you.
Yeah, so hypothetically, the idea of lowering the commercial tax rate, I think in line with the Research Bureau, it's a nice idea. 2/3 of towns and cities in Massachusetts have lowered the commercial tax rate in order to attract businesses. But I can tell you from knocking in doors across District 1, not one single person in the district that I spoke to has asked me to lower the commercial tax rate. Every single resident who's brought up the tax rate in Worcester has asked me to promise to keep it as low as possible. So that's what I will do at this time. People are getting squeezed from every angle, in every direction right now. Costs are being pushed to them from everywhere. And we need to do everything that we can to keep the residential tax rate as low as possible and keep bills off of people's backs. If the city manager and his office can get together with some kind of a proposal to eventually make changes to our tax system, I'm open to listening to it, but we need to keep costs low right now because people are getting squeezed. Thank you.
Thank you, Keith. Robert Bilotta, you have 1 minute.
Thank you. Yeah, I absolutely agree with keeping property taxes as low as possible for Worcester residents. Residential property taxes make up the bulk of Worcester property tax revenues. I believe we need to do more to keep property taxes low for seniors. This past year, I petitioned the City Council to look into expanding the senior homeowner tax exemption. This is something that Boston done. My opponent and 5 other councilors voted to to throw it out. So I think we really need to do more to see what we can do to fix, to save seniors money who are on fixed incomes, because like Keith said, people are getting squeezed. Property taxes, values are going up, utility bills are going up, and we also don't want to put more tax burden on property owners that might pass those costs on to renters. I think, we really need to do more to raise pilot payments from our colleges and institutions by doing the long-term work to align interests and making sure that they bring money to the table for specific projects in Worcester, but again, keeping property taxes as low as possible.
Thank you, Robert. Candy, you have 1 minute.
Yes, we definitely need to make sure we keep them low. There isn't anybody who you talk to today who's a homeowner who thinks that they could afford to pay any more in taxes. Everybody has, certainly this past year, has gotten hit extremely hard with all of the different utility bills and food costs. So we definitely need to do something like that. In terms of the senior taxes, we are at the highest rate at this point right now. The city council every year votes the highest tax rebate for seniors, and this year was no different. This is certainly not a time that we have, I don't believe we have the opportunity to raise the taxes any more than the lowest on our residents. Thank you.
Jose?
The dual tax rate has been implemented in our city for over 40 years to the benefit of the homeowners. I honestly feel the city should roll out the welcome mats and not put so many obstacles for businesses that want to come to Worcester. The goal should be to increase our tax base so that the city can generate more revenue. It would also allow us to lower the commercial and residential tax rate, obviously the residential tax rate taking precedence. But for example, in 2021, businesses were paying $36 per $1,000 of assessed value, and then today is $28.61. And in 2021, residents were paying $16.28, and now they're paying $13.19. So we are moving in the right direction, but there's still more work to be done.
Thank you, Jose. Robert Pisella.
So I'm for the lowest residential tax rate in the city. I just want to make that very clear tonight. And for those of you who might be hesitant because of misinformation going around in my campaign, right here. This is my mailing, right here. Oh, you want to read what it says right here?
Jeez, you put me on the spot, man.
No, I need an objective viewer.
Support the lowest residential tax rate.
Right here, folks. This has been going out to the residents and voters of District 3. I am for the very lowest residential tax rate. In regards to the dual classification, I'm not anti-business, I will work with the Chamber of Commerce in regards to commercial. We're already doing that. The city of Worcester gives out economic development in the city when they want to come into the city development. We have TIFs. We have other incentives for businesses to come in order for them to prosper and to live with the tax rate that they're given, which is higher. So I am telling you that although and I am going to vote for the lowest residential tax rate, I am going to work with the entities in the city that promote economic growth through businesses.
Thank you, Robert. Tony, your turn.
Thank you. I won't put Robert on the spot. So for me, as we lose our business base, the taxes only fall to one entity, the residents. I'm in favor of a more equitable tax rate. I'd like to see us work to lower the commercial rate as well as lower the residential rate. And I'll ask all of you, are you aware where we stand with tax rate even with our surrounding towns? Worcester is one of the lowest around, other than Shrewsbury and Leicester. Other than that, every surrounding town, we're lower. Now, when we talk about our commercial tax rate, we are the highest. We are the highest by more than two times. That's not sustainable. That's not good for business growth, because as the businesses leave, we lose jobs, we lose opportunity for sponsorships for our kids' baseball, and the tax base continues to crumble, and it's left for the resident to pick up the pieces. So just keep that in mind as we go forward.
Thank you, Tony. John, you're next.
Yes, remember I asked you to fact check? I'm going to ask you to fact check now. Here is my opponent's website printed out. In the area taxes, he does not list anywhere that he's for the lowest residential tax rate. That mailing just came out because he knows he's going to the doors and finding that people are supporting me and my stance on the lowest residential tax rate. Again, you have your phones with you. Go to his website and see what he says about taxes. If he is for the lowest residential tax rate, put it on your website. I only go by what he has on his website. Now, as far as lying, no, I'm not lying. I'm for the... Excuse me.
John, you can finish your answer.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, I have been to 7,000 doors. I know I heard a little anger in my opponent's voice. 7,000 doors, and I've talked to people, and I am for the lowest residential tax rate, and that's what I tell them when I go to the doors. I don't mention my opponent at all. It's right here in his website. Check it out. Please go to your phones and check it out. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. Ted, you have 1 minute.
I've spoken to many, many small businesses. In fact, this evening, I met a few gentlemen that have a business downtown, and it's hurting them. How many places, take it right down Millbury Street, Harding Street, anywhere around District 4, how many for lease signs do you see? Closed businesses do you see? Why is that? Is it a coincidence? I don't think so. We need to lower that rate at least by half, and then you'll attract businesses. We lost BJ's headquarters. We could have had a beautiful operation here with BJ's. 1,500 jobs they were offering. They didn't, where did they go? They went to Marlboro. Do you know why? Better tax rate. They can afford it. Huge complex. Residential tax rates are high. And I'd like to see the lowest possible tax rate for seniors so they can stay in their homes and not have to worry about having to sell their houses.
Thank you, Ted. Luis, you have 1 minute.
Yeah, it's just so much going on. It's just, I think people just get sidetracked. It feels like Tuesday night. I believe on the lowest residential tax rate, but we need to understand that we must be fair and understand that it has a balanced approach to it. But at the same time, we have to protect our residents. Our neighbors are already burdened with rising house costs. The average income in our city isn't as great as we want it to be. So if we increase that, our family members are suffering, right? And that's something that we want to protect. But at the same time, I will say we do want business owners to stay here. They want to be in Worcester. I had a conversation with someone yesterday, and they say they love Worcester. They love working in Worcester. But they see what the neighbors outside of Worcester, what they pay in taxes. And that's a struggle that they have to want to either stay or leave. So that's where we as councilors got to, fight tooth and nail to figure out what's the best outcome for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Luis. Etel?
Thank you. Yeah, I have had conversations just recently with seniors in District 5 who are begging me to do something about their ability to stay at home because they're going to be facing heating bills this year with the federal cuts that are coming from our government, where they're not going to be able to pay their mortgage, fill their prescription, or heat their homes. I do not believe at this point in time we can afford to put that kind of residential burden, on our residential homeowners. That said, I've had over 7 small businesses in District 5 that I've done ribbon cuttings for just in the last few months. I do believe that we should be treating our small businesses the same way that we do our big developers. I would be open to having a conversation with the Chamber of Commerce, with the city manager, and any other economic development groups in the city to make sure that if we're going to lower that gap, that we have mitigating plans in place to support our small businesses. I also want to say that it's frustrating that every year we have the Chamber of Commerce come to our city council and pit small businesses against homeowners. That's not right.
Question 7 is for Atel and Jose. You'll each have 90 seconds, and we'll start with Atel. The question is, the Worcester Now Next strategic plan envisions a denser city. Which transportation projects would you prioritize to accommodate many more residents arriving? First off is Atel for 90 seconds.
Just actually last night in District 5, we held a meeting about a big project coming on Stafford Street potentially. We talked about the fact that we have to have a walkable city and district. I have been a vocal proponent of the Worcester Now Next in all of its connection between housing and transportation. I've also been a big proponent of making sure that we have walkability and good transportation, reliable WRTA. We cannot build housing without having the ability for our residents to walk safely to the corner store or to run errands. The Worcester Now Next lays out a very good blueprint for how in the next 10 years Worcester can balance the need for both housing growth, accommodating those at the lowest and middle income levels for housing, at the same time make sure that we are implementing our Vision Zero principles, which guide the Worcester Now Next, the transportation plan, and the mobility action plan in all of our projects.
Thank you, Atel. Next up is Jose for 90 seconds.
Thank you. I support the Now Next plan, but I will need more clarification on number 2, which is implement pre-overhaul zoning changes. And also on number 6, they initiate a comprehensive citywide zoning overhaul. If they are referring to eliminating single-family zoning, then I can't support that. As far as the WRTA goes, I support I think the fare free is going great. I would like to see the extended past June 2026. And I also would like to see more bus routes. I think we're in 2025, and I just don't understand how not every street has bus routes coming. I mean, I went door knocking in Salisbury Street, and I had 3 different residents tell me there's not a bus that goes up Salisbury Street. And you have seniors, you have college students, you have teenagers. You know, I just don't understand that. So we need to fix that.
Thank you. Question number 8 is for Keith and Tony. Each of you will have 90 seconds to respond, starting with Keith. In December 2024, the U.S. Department of Justice and U.S. Attorney's Office for Massachusetts released the results of their investigation into the Worcester Police Department and the City of Worcester. What do you think of the findings, and what additional steps, if any, do you propose as a result?
The DOJ report was deeply troubling to me. In fact, it was the first thing that ever got me to go down to City Hall and give testimony. I've spoken with many residents who express concern and distrust for our police, but are afraid to speak up for a variety of reasons. I met with Chief Saucier back in July, and we both agree that police officers have a difficult job and are often asked to do too much. The power of the police union in this city has prevented us from creating a culture of responsibility and accountability. We are one of the few big cities in this country without a civilian review board, and we should take the Research Bureau's advice and implement one as soon as possible. Worcester's NAACP and Black Families Together have given recommendations for what community policing could look like, and we should take them up on their recommendations. I do give credit to Chief Saucier for implementing a dashboard to measure the recommendations from the DOJ. because we need measurable goals towards those recommendations. The most important thing that we need to do in this city is rebuild public trust. And to me and the voters of District 1 that I've been speaking with, that starts with a civilian review board with subpoena power. We need it as soon as we possibly can.
Thank you, Keith. Tony, you have 90 seconds.
So I'll go on record right now that I support the police 100%. I support the work they do. I think we should be supporting them as best we can. It's not carte blanche. If there are problems, yes, let's address the problems. I think the downfall of the DOJ report, it wasn't specific. It wasn't specific enough, right? It's just words on paper. And unless you're going to put names to the paper, then it's just that, words on paper. So when I look at our police department, unless you've walked a day in their shoes, who are we to judge what they come across and what they have to deal with every single day? I was fortunate enough to do a ride-along. We came along at an unattended death. We came along a domestic. We came along somebody who had not taken their medication, unfortunately, and was running wild through a store. And I can tell you the officers that I was with on that ride-along were compassionate with the family on the unattended death. In regards to the domestic, I can tell you this. The officer did a great job calming everybody down, but you can, in 1 second, the situation changed quickly. And thank God the other officer had arrived, backup had arrived, and was able to calm the gentleman down. So if you're going to judge people, let's walk in their shoes first before we start judging them. Thank you.
Question number 9 is for all of you, and I want you to know it's like in one question there are 3, and you're going to have 1 minute. So I'm going to read it carefully. The city manager is hired by the city council. How do you believe the city manager is performing? What does he do well, and what could he improve on? And I'm going to start with Luis.
I just got to write that.
I will read it to you again.
No, you don't have to read it. You said that the 3 things are performing.
Yes. So,
what does he
yes,
do
the first
well?
one is, how do you believe the city manager is performing? What does he do well? And what could he improve on?
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
How's he performing? I think that's a tricky question for me. As a District 4 counselor, I base it on District 4. So for me, can he be performing well? Yes, we have our meetings. They're very thoughtful. We go back and forth, never heated, just very respectful meetings when it comes to those meetings. As far as him performing, I'll move on to things he could improve on is, and I've mentioned it on council floor, is communication, making sure we all know, what's his vision and sharing that with us, not having, not that he has side conversations, but making sure we're all on board with that. I think what he does well is ownership on a lot of things that don't go well in the city, and he'll stand up and say, what he's done wrong. Again, for me, I always tell him that I would love to see him out more. I want him to be more involved in District 4 to, again, enhance District 4 and to be a leader in that way. Thank you.
Thank you, Luis. Robert Bilota, you have 1 minute.
Thank you. I think one thing that the city manager has done really well with is rolling out and working on implementing policy. That's what Worcester needs to move forward. We need broad policy changes when it comes to housing, when it comes to urban planning, when it comes to our streets and sidewalks. I think certain areas with the Worcester Now Next plan are really exciting. I think one thing that I think comes up time and time again on council is that we have a city council that doesn't support smart policy choices that the city manager is putting out, like Vision Zero, like making sure our triple deckers are safe and affordable. But I also think the city council doesn't do a good enough job of pushing the city manager to do better when it comes to holding developers accountable, making sure that we build more housing that really is affordable to the majority of Worcester residents, particularly with our TIFs and ties. The 12 active ties right now, post and pre-construction, have accounted for around 1,800 units of housing. Only 36 are affordable. That's not a mix of affordability, that's a fraction. We need to do better with that.
Thank you, Robert. Same question for Keith, 1 minute.
Yeah, I just want to start by saying that in our current model of government, the city manager essentially functions like a CEO, and the city council is supposed to basically be like a board of directors to him. And one of the problems that I think this brings is that it often feels right now like the city council is used more like a cheerleader for the city manager or a shield for the things that he does, basically giving him cover while he does what he wants without being held truly accountable. And so one of the things that I think makes the question about performance hard is that the quantifiable goals for measuring the city manager's success are not there. What I would like to see is more objective measures. I think as Luis said, it's like how many of these plans that the city has, which a lot of them are good, Now Next, Vision Zero, these are good plans, but how well is the city manager doing with sticking to those plans? How much progress is being made? We need to have also more resident feedback in sentiments about the city manager included in the evaluation as well.
Thank you, Keith. Tony, your turn.
Thank you. So I believe the city manager is doing a good job. I think I would say, if I were fortunate to be a district councilor from District 1, I think what the importance working with the city manager is listening to the concerns that I bring forward for my constituents, what they're telling me, what their concerns are, and how we can best work to address those concerns. So, for instance, you know, a lot of talk's always about street and sidewalks, utility work that's being done. If our DPW is shorthanded, then we need to act on that. We need to implement ways to bolster our DPW so we can get things done in our city in a reasonable amount of time. Not all season, but in a reasonable amount of time. We need to hold the inspectors accountable, and I think that all comes down from the city manager. I think he's done well in coming out to our small business groups and talking to them and hearing their concerns. And overall, I think City Manager Batista does a good job. He's a good listener and a good person to work with.
John, you're next.
Yes, I think I've known Eric since he was a teenager and worked at the YMCA. I'll give you two examples in the district where I think he's doing a good job and where I think it's a very poor job. The good job is he had city manager when he was elected, appointed, I should say. He went around to each district and he came to the senior center. And when he came there, I told him that the property at Worcester Academy and also the School of Nursing needed to be done and needed to be renovated, and I wasn't going away. We're going to stay on top of it. And he did a good job with that. Roosevelt School is where I think it's a complete failure. We've pounded the government to help with the dismissal there, and even with a $4 million investment in parking spaces, it still continues. So that there is a very poor job. So overall, he's a good man, and I think he's doing a good job.
Thank you, John. Robert Pizzella, 1 minute.
Yeah, as Keith just said, we're in a planning form of government where the city manager is the CEO and the council is the employer of the city manager, and they do a very comprehensive evaluation every year. I had an opportunity to talk to a couple of councilors, and his feet are held to the fire with this evaluation on a number of things. I know Eric. I worked with him when he was assistant city manager. He on the Worcester Youth Violence Plan and the Community Health Improvement Plan. He's a very, very detailed person. You know, he pays attention. he listens, he's able to bring people together. And as city manager, he's done that as well. When I worked for Ray Mariano when he was the mayor and I was his chief aide back in 1994, which is a long time ago, he started mayor's walks in the city of Worcester, and I was the coordinator. And every time he went on the mayor's walk, he brought the city manager, who was Tom Hoover at the time. I would like to see our city manager come more into the neighborhoods. I know he's gone to the business community and gone to meetings and economic development, meetings, but I want to see him come before the voters and the residents. I want him to see firsthand what it's like to live in neighborhoods. And he lives in a neighborhood himself. He's my neighbor. So I give him a B+. If I had to give him a grade right now, I'd give him a B+. But there's much more room for growth.
Thank you, Robert.
And we have to be able.
Thank you.
He's cut me off a few times.
Thank you, Robert. Candy, your turn. 1 minute.
Yep. I think the city manager is doing a great job in terms of coming into the neighborhoods. One thing that happens with the city manager is I ask him all the time to come into the neighborhoods, and he comes. There isn't one of the neighborhoods in my district that he hasn't gone to. If I were to say, what is it that he could do better, I think the city manager could delegate some of his responsibilities, because I think the city manager at this point tries to do it all because he is very detailed oriented. But for the residents of District 2, he's been at just about every neighborhood meeting, or when there's been issues, he comes.
Thank you, Candy. Ted?
I think he's doing a pretty good job. There is room for improvement, but what I'd like to do is develop a group of people from each of our neighborhoods that will work with the city manager, at least meet with him once a month, give him their concerns, what the needs are, because he needs to hear it directly, not just at neighborhood meetings, because a lot of times those meetings are helpful, but there are not enough of them in the district. There's only a few of them. We need more. But so if I can put together a group of people, which I can, and I already have some in line, that could meet with him directly and tell him what we need. This is how government works. Not by speculation, by voices. Thank you.
Thank you, Ted. Jose?
From the time that I've known the city manager, the work he's doing and he's done as assistant city manager to today, I look at Eric as a perfectionist. He loves the city of Worcester. I like all his strategic plans. I like all other things rolling out on social media. I like the transparency he's bringing to the city. I like how he runs the city councilor meetings. Everything's by the book, and he respects the chamber. He respects the city councilors, and he respects the residents of Worcester. So I think he's doing a good job, and I think maybe something that he can work on is maybe slow down a little bit.
Thank you, Jose. Etel, you're the last one in this question. You have 1 minute.
I just want to actually start by saying that to the victims of sexual assault that were mentioned in the DOJ report, your stories are very real, and your pain matters to me. In regards to what the manager is doing well, I have publicly said that the manager has been leading and getting all of his department heads on board with Vision Zero, zoning overhaul, and the Worcester Now Next. I have been very transparent and very honest with the manager that the city as a whole needs to pay more attention to our neighborhoods. There are several vacant properties in District 5 along Park Avenue on Mill Street that still need the same attention as the city gives the downtown area.
The 10th question is for Candy and for Robert Bellotta. And you'll each have 90 seconds to respond to the question. While the city has seen many high-profile development projects come online in recent years, there have also been many high-profile pauses in development as well. What projects are your priorities, and how can the City Council jumpstart paused or new projects? Candy, you're first for 90 seconds.
Yes, so we have a couple of projects that are on pause, as you've indicated, and that has to do with, quite honestly, the investors. It has to do with the cost of materials that's happening. We do have a couple of projects that are on pause, which are self-imposed, which are at Polar Park. Those projects at Polar Park are under the Worcester Redevelopment Authority, and we are currently, the city manager, myself, the Peter Dunn from Economic Development. We have been working with them along with the WRA to try to move those projects along. Again, Peter Dunn in Economic Development and that entire staff work tirelessly to move these projects along and to help the developers move these projects along. There's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes that oftentimes I don't think that people understand what does happen. But again, if the investors are making a choice to pause their investment, then what we have had to do in some cases is look for new developers, in which we've done that on several projects in the city of Worcester. Right now, we're in decent shape. Thank you.
Thank you, Candy. And now Robert Bellata for 90 seconds.
Sure. No, it's exciting to see Worcester grow, and what spurred me to run in 2023 and why I'm running again is because we're giving the city away. We absolutely need to give tax breaks to spur development and in turn spur our tax base, but we need to hold developers accountable. Madison Properties that is stalling at Polar Park is buying up half of College Hill. While people here are struggling to make ends meet, developers are cashing in, and we're not holding them accountable. We need to stop rolling out the red carpet and making sure that if we are giving tax breaks, that we're getting something in return. I think we could do more by doing density bonuses, streamlining development, so when developers want to come in and build affordable housing, we make it easier for them to do so. But it's just not happening right now. And I'm part of the Worcester Together Affordable Housing Coalition. We packed City Hall 3 years ago advocating for the City Council to pass a stricter inclusionary zoning ordinance that provides more affordability for Worcester residents. That didn't happen. We have one on the books. It's good. It's working. And like Councilor Carlson said, Peter Dunn Economic Development, they are working hard. We have the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. The CPA just put another $1.5 million. What we really need to do better is holding developers accountable and not selling our community out.
The next question is for Robert Pizzella and John Frezzolo. So I want our audience to let them speak. It's two questions in one. Each one of you will have 90 seconds. There is a local ballot question asking whether Worcester's private colleges and universities should make contributions to the city based on their endowments. What is your position on this proposal? How should the city approach its relationship with higher education institutions to ensure that these relationships are mutually beneficial? Robert Pizzella, you go first, 90 seconds.
Sure. Our colleges in this city are instrumental in keeping us vibrant. The brain trust that they bring to us is very essential. And I am hopeful that when students graduate from college, that they stay in the city, and we have to have incentives for that. However, when you get to the administration part of colleges, I am definitely in favor of them paying their fair share of taxes. Pilot payment in lieu of taxes. I know that the city for years has been having contentious relationships with the respective colleges to pay more of their fair share. I know right now that there is a situation going on, and I believe City Councilor Carlson is involved with the mayor in regards to getting more money from certain colleges when they buy up a lot of property that is on the tax rolls and no longer is when they are able to purchase that. So they need to pay more of their fair share, and we have to get more money. Their endowments are in the billions, as most of us know, and they have to pay their fair share and continue to be a part of this community.
Thank you, Robert. John, 90 seconds.
Yes, I agree with a lot of what Rob just said. Being a state rep for 15 years, I had the College of the Holy Cross in the district, and I see both sides of it. The Cross employs so many people, especially from College Hill, and that is a bonus, obviously, to the city that they are a great employer. But I also have seen that they own all of City View Street now. They have taken every house on City View and put up dorms for senior students in their senior year. But I know they have a plan to grow even larger and take more property. So I agree, they need to pay their fair share. They're taking properties off the tax rolls, and I'd be all for the legislation or the order that Councilor Carlson and the mayor has filed. I'd be supportive of that in the next term. Thank you.
So question number 12 is for everyone. You'll each have 1 minute to answer. I'll call on you as things go along. Cities like Worcester rely heavily on federal support for health and social services, with proposals to cut programs such as Medicaid, SNAP, and other federal funding streams. Should city government respond to protect residents and maintain essential services? And if so, how? The first person I'll call on, and again, it's 1 minute each, is Ted.
Sure. I don't think at this moment the federal funding has stopped yet. Should it stop, we should be prepared in any event. How are we going to pay for that? Shouldn't the funding be coming from the state, not from the city, and funneled from the state to the city? Unfortunately, the state right now, they're in a bad shape. So where are we going to get the money? Are we going to tax more people so we can fund it? Somebody have an answer? I'm open. No, we don't have an answer for it because we don't know what the hell's going on right now. It's just too much up in the air. There is no funding from the state. There is no funding that the city can afford. So it has to come from federal funding. And as of this moment, I don't think that's stopped. And I don't anticipate it to stop. So if it does, what is a good backup plan? There isn't one. Because if someone has a good one, let me know. I'll listen.
Thank you, Ted. And next is Attell.
I spoke to the executive director of the Worcester Community Action Council tonight before coming here and asked her how many people does she expect, residents of the city, to lose heat assistance in 2 weeks. And she said about 10,000 people are at risk of not getting assistance, fuel assistance. I think the city manager has been very clear with the city council that his commitment is to preserving the essential services so that the residents continue to receive them as they deserve to. I don't think we know how to act with a president that's cutting food assistance to our seniors. And in my district specifically, I know there's a lot of people who are very, very scared. I can tell you what I will do. I will continue to advocate with our legislative partners. I will continue to speak out against the cuts of the federal government, and I will continue to support the city manager as he and council together navigate this situation that no municipality is actually ready to receive.
Thank you, Attell. Next, John, you have 1 minute.
Repeat it again, please.
Yes, the question, cities like Worcester rely heavily on federal support for health and social services, with proposals to cut programs such as Medicaid, SNAP, and other federal funding streams. Should city government respond to protect residents and maintain essential services, and if so, how?
Well, of course, they should come to assistance if that's the case. I'm hoping it won't be the case. I'm hoping that our delegation here in the Commonwealth, all Democrats, and go down there and fight against it. But if that's the case, we need to prioritize. We cannot allow our seniors or those who are, minimal income to go without. And I think we do a good job now as a city. And I would we'd have to step it up and try to come through if that's the case. But hopefully it's not the case, because I don't believe anyone in Washington wants to hurt seniors and those on food assistance. And I'm hoping that's the case.
Thank you, John. Tony, your turn. 1 minute, please.
Thank you. So, I don't think anybody on this panel wants to see anybody struggle, right? And it's out of our hands at the moment. And I would agree with a lot of what's been said already. It's like, I'd support the city manager on what he had to bring forward, but it's going to be a discussion. We're all going to have to look at, okay, what are we willing to give up to fund this? So as long as we're all on the same page, I'm willing to work with the city manager and make things happen the way it needs to happen, but there needs to be an understanding between all parties involved. It's not just us and them, it's the entire city that comes to play on this.
Thank you. And Luis.
Thank you. I know one area where they can probably find some funding, and that's my salary that I'm not taking, because obviously I'm a city employee. So that's and over time, 33,000 times 4. Hopefully I get in. Well, I should get in. You could use some of that money, but and also finding ways within the budget to allocate some of this money to support these services. We know that the services that will be impacted are the schools, human services, health and human services, housing, public safety. These are all the things that really hit home and matter to all of us. So it's working with the city manager to understand that. And yes, we're hoping that we're not going to be hit, but at the same time, Worcester cannot be continued to be the city that just gets surprised. We know that there's possibilities of this coming down. We need to prepare ourselves. And again, that's working with the city manager, work with the state to push those funds and really allocate them to where they need to be. Thank you.
Thanks, Luis. And Candy, I'll turn to you now.
Yeah. The city manager, along with the council, has stepped up previously for food insecurity, that we were able to give $2 million to the United Way. But I don't think that $2 million is going to cut what we're going to need. And I, for one, I hope that I am absolutely 1,000% wrong, but I do believe that we are going to see these cuts come, and this is not something we've dealt with previously, but I'm comfortable that this council, working with the city manager, will do whatever we need to do to continue the services that we can for the residents of Worcester.
Thank you, Candy. Jose?
I think the good news is that we have 10 people here who care about the city residents of Worcester and our seniors, so that's a good thing. We will need to continue to work with our state and federal partners to find ways to make sure we are providing the services our most vulnerable rely on. It's going to take for the city of Worcester to take a good look at the budget and make sure we prioritize the residents whose services rely on the city the most. We also may have to look at the free cash and new growth as an option as well. Like I said, we cannot have this burden fall on our seniors.
Thank you, Jose. Rod Bellotta, next, please.
Yeah, I think, unfortunately, these cuts are coming. It's going to get much worse. And it's unfortunate that these things are going to be falling on local municipalities because of budget cuts. So I think we need folks on council that have really know the inner workings of all the services providers that are in the city of Worcester, because we're going to have to rely on a lot of service providers to come together to bridge gaps I think it's unfortunate we're seeing cuts to the Housing First programs, cuts to SNAP benefits. We're going to really need to work together and need to work with our state delegation, our congressmen. It's going to take a lot of work in finding out where we can, again, bridge gaps. I think, working with Central Mass Housing Alliance, working with CAC, we're going to have to figure out ways to provide services and maybe get creative and see what we can do in the city of Worcester.
Thank
Nobody
you, Rob.
said where the money's coming from, did
And
they?
Rob Pizzelli, you're next.
Everybody needs to have the basic necessities in life, food, clothing, and shelter. And we have to do everything we can to make that possible. Unfortunately, right now, people's health insurance is being threatened to be cut. That would be a disaster to anybody. You go to food pantries now, they're on the rise. Consignment stores on the rise. People can't afford to buy new clothes. So what we have to do collectively is that we have to work together. Homeless, every one of us driving the streets of Worcester, and you see the homeless population, which is a tragedy. And we don't need any more homeless people as a result of losing their basic necessities and health insurance on the streets. That's why I support the proposal for a day resource center that the city manager and the council are trying to achieve. We need to come together, fundamental fairness, goodness that we all have, and I know that we'll find a solution to hopefully address this issue.
Thank you, Rob. And lastly, Keith.
So I'm an optimistic person. I wouldn't have brought 3 children into this world if I wasn't hopeful about the future. But I do have a warning for everybody. The federal government's cruelty and disregard for the well-being of regular Americans knows no bounds. Cuts are coming. Things will get worse. We, as leaders in this city, need to be prepared to make tough choices and make our priorities clear. There are not going to always be easy answers, but I know I will prioritize seniors, families, and the most vulnerable among us. I'll partner with local groups to do everything that we can to protect seniors, kids, families above all else.
Question 13 is for Luis Ojeda and Ted Costas. Each of you are going to have 90 seconds. Safe streets and sidewalks have been included in many candidates' platforms. What does this mean to you, and how will you achieve it? Luis.
That's been one of the biggest issues in District 4, safe streets. Safe streets not only mean that the roads are broken up, the potholes or the sidewalks. It's also making sure residents feel safe walking to school, going home, walking to work. I've done the work. We've addressed a lot of the issues throughout the city, especially with speed humps, curb extenders, lighting, more signage, bringing people to the table and having neighborhood meetings, doing walk audits, community neighborhood meetings to address these issues, working with all the city departments, Worcester 311, Department of, Quality of Life team, working with Worcester Police Department as well to provide safety for our residents in all areas, not just the roads, but with drugs, with speeding and traffics as well, putting calming measures in place. We've been successful in that. In the King Street area, the intersection of King Street area, we've been able to lessen the amount of accidents that we've had in the past year since I became council. And it's continuing that work. It's going from district to throughout the district and having those meetings and having those residents be involved. To me, it's important that the residents are involved on the decision making, and also bringing Department of Traffic Mobility and bringing department heads out of their offices because they're great people and they want to help do the work, and having them come in and do the work with the residents. Thank you.
Thank you, Luis. Ted, 90 seconds.
Nice answer. But it's not working, is it? We still have an increase of drugs, crime, name it, in District 4. We do need more police to help patrol. My daughter lives on Main Street in Main South, right in the heart of everything. There's not a day I don't drive by to make sure she is home, that her car is parked in front of the barber shop, not too far from Clark University, 2 blocks. I've gone there and kicked out addicts, and I hate to do it, but on her front step, shooting heroin in the daytime. How would you like to go home? How would you like to have your daughters live in a neighborhood like that? You wouldn't like it, would you? You'd probably be doing the same thing I'm doing, making sure they're safe, but they're not safe in the neighborhood, any neighborhood in that area. We need more police protection. We need more mental health, more medical situations to be enhanced. We need more shelters in the city. The city owns 200 different properties that are vacant. You don't think we can get some federal funding? Build them out, put some beds in there? You probably get 200 to 300 beds. There's over 3,000 people just in that area alone, homeless. Most of them are doing drugs. They need help, and they're not getting it. And I don't care what anybody says about whatever program that's out there. It's not working. I will make it work. Thank you for sharing that out.
We don't kick out residents. We support them.
So question 14 and the last topical question.
Yes, we do, but they need help.
You just said you kick them out.
I didn't say we kick them out.
Uh,
I kick out the addicts from the front.
We're moving on to the next question.
There are people.
With your kids in the house. You wouldn't like it, would you?
So we're moving on to the last
You're a
question.
father. You should know better. You
Question 14 is for Jose and Atel, and you'll each have 90 seconds. Immigrations and Customs Enforcement has been increasingly active in Worcester. In response to the Eureka Street incident, the city manager issued an executive order limiting local agencies' involvement with federal law enforcement. How do you feel about the current guidelines? What would you propose? And first is Jose Rivera for 90 seconds.
First, I'll start off in saying that the Worcester Police Department does not assist ICE. My opinion on the Eureka Street incident, after watching countless videos, is that our Worcester Police Departments were put in a tough position and they had to deal with crowd control. What I would like to see in Worcester is similar to the mass trial court ICE policy that we follow. When ICE comes to pick up a custody, they have to show us a warrant. No warrant, no custody. And we can't hand over the custody. Like the Worcester Police Department, we do not assist ICE as well, but we also don't interfere with federal policies.
Thank you, Jose. And next is Atel for 90 seconds.
Across the country, we are seeing elected officials stand up for their constituents' right to have constitutional rights. What happened on Eureka Street destroyed a family and caused irreparable harm to a 17-year-old that should have never been put on the ground the way that she was. I don't need a badge and a gun to protect my constituents. It is my job as an elected official to ask questions, to challenge policy, and I do have to give praise to Chief Saucier and the city manager for implementing good measured policies that prevent the police department from cooperating with ICE. I will say it again, my job as an elected official, whether that ruffles some feathers or not, is to protect children and women. That is what I did alongside community members on Eureka Street, and I will continue to stand up for immigrants' rights, the constitutional right for them not to be kidnapped by masked, armed men on our streets.
We're now moving to closing statements. It'll be 1 minute each, and I'll go in order, calling on each one of you individually. And again, 1 minute each, starting with Keith.
Yeah, thanks to the Research Bureau, the TNG, for putting this together. We need more forums like this to debate and dialogue our city's issues openly. One of my goals for running has been to remind leaders who they are supposed to serve. We should be focused on the people living in our city now instead of trying to impress people from Boston. We should be prioritizing our renters over big landlords. We should be helping our elderly residents with housing and tax relief. We should be protecting our architectural beauty and our green space. We should be fighting for our workers and our unions instead of shady contractors that steal wages and put people in unsafe conditions. We should be standing up for those that are asking for help, like the LGBTQIA+ community and immigrants who fear being ripped away from their families. We should be seeking advice from our communities through community groups and oversight committees like the Human Rights Commission, who are frequently ignored, and creating a civilian review board with subpoena power. If I'm elected, I will always prioritize residents over people that are looking to make a buck off of Worcester. Thank you, and please vote for me for District 1.
Next is Tony. Tony, please.
Thank you. My record speaks for itself when I was on the council prior, and still does today. I'm here to represent the people of District 1, the residents, the businesses, all of them. To this day, I still get calls for help, and I'm more than happy to help where I can. If you want somebody who's going to support you, work with you to get things done, help improve our streets and sidewalks, get Burncoat High School done, look at improving West Boylston Street. I spent over $6 million with every single park in District 1 when I last served, and I vow to do the same going forward. We're working on Tacoma Street Park now, and I give a lot of credit to my predecessors for doing that, and I look to pick up the ball to finish that. I ask for your vote come November 4th, and I look forward to serving with you.
Thank you, Tony. And Rob Bellata, please.
Thank you, everyone, for coming out tonight. For me, it's always been about one thing, and that's fighting for the working people in the neighborhoods that we all call home. Worcester has been my home for my entire life. I've been proud to fight on the City Council for working families, for our neighborhoods, and a stronger Worcester. From my roots in organized labor to my work at City Hall, I've spent my career standing up for Worcester's families, taking on the tough fights and delivering real results for the people who make this city work. I've led the charge to make colleges pay their fair share because Worcester taxpayers shouldn't carry the burden alone. I fought to clean up Indian Lake with all the folks around the lake and to protect our parks. And when a billboard company tried to come into one of our neighborhoods, I stood up and said no. For the folks on Lower Lincoln Street who I represent, there has been a lot of challenges up there, but we've worked through them, and I think we've done a great job. So I'm asking you for your vote on November 4th to keep moving District 2 forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Candy. And Rob.
Just like Councilor Carlson, lived in District 2 my entire life. I really love our neighborhoods, our city. I think Worcester has a lot to offer. The city's growing, but we need to make sure that families and residents aren't being left behind. We need to make sure that we support more affordable housing for residents, safe housing, that we're holding out-of-town developers accountable, that we're making sure that our local government works for everyone and that we bring more voices to the table and not just make the local government work for those who are well-connected. I've lived in Worcester my entire life. I've paid Worcester politics my entire life, and I can tell you for too long it's been about upholding the status quo. We need to bring more voices to the table, make sure that all of our communities, all of our neighborhoods are represented and heard. As someone from the disability community, I can tell you that there are still communities that are left out, that continue to be left out of the conversation. We need to do better with that. I'm really proud of the work I've done as an advocate, as a disability rights advocate, housing advocate. I would love to take that next step and represent District 2 neighborhoods and residents. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Rob. And now Rob Pizzella.
Thank you for having this tonight. It was a great forum. Folks, there's a saying, talk the talk or walk the walk. I've walked the walk for over 40 years in helping the citizens in residence of District 3. I ask you, for those who are undecided that are voters in District 3 tonight, to please look at my resume, look at my body of work, and see what I have done in helping people in the community in District 3, the marginalized groups that I have helped, people in need for a pickup in their lives that needed help. I have done that. Once again, both as a volunteer and in paid positions. Going forward, I will continue to be relentless, as I said in my opening statement, to advocate for the residents of District 3, in addition to the citizens of the city of Worcester. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob. And John.
You know, my opponent talks a lot about honesty and trust, and I agree. Voters deserve both. Excuse me. Paul, I expect to have my time back. Go while people are talking? Okay. But honestly, isn't about who can shout the loudest or point the most fingers. It's about telling the truth and standing by your record. I've always been upfront with the people of District 3. When I say I support the lowest possible residential tax rate, it's because I believe families and seniors are already paying more than enough. My opponent has accused me of lying about that. But if you visit his own website, you won't see that same commitment written anywhere. Those are the facts. The difference between us is simple. I don't just talk about honesty, I live it by being clear about where I stand and by doing the work. That's what leadership means to me, showing up, being accountable, and delivering for the people who live here. Check OCPF. My opponent, 75% of his money comes from outside the district. 83% of my money within the district. All people who give $10, $15, $50. Look it up. Those are the facts. Please fact check me. And believe me, I will be the counselor that you deserve. Thank you.
Thank you, John. And Luis, it's your turn.
My goal has always been to learn alongside the people of District 4. I want my community to grow with me, understand, to be informed, and to be empowered. My campaign is always and will always be about the people, their voices, their challenges and dreams. I believe diversity builds outcomes and identity shapes purpose. The experiences that make us different are the same ones that drive us to serve and uplift our community. There's real love and passion in District 4. I see it every day in our residents, our small businesses, our youth and elders. And together we can continue to raise the quality of life for everyone who calls this district home. I encourage District 4 residents to become more involved. There are several boards and commissions that need to be represented by District 4 residents. So tonight I ask for your support, not just to continue the work we started, but to build a safer, stronger, more connected District 4 together. I humbly ask for your vote on November 4th because when we work together, when we listen to one another, and when we hold each other accountable, there's nothing this community cannot achieve. Thank you.
Thanks, Luis. Thank you. And Ted.
You know, a lot of things were said here this evening, and some of them I agree with, some of them I don't. But I haven't really seen any real progress made in the District 4. My promise to you, the citizens and residents of District 4, small businesses, I will help you. I will work with you. Schools, neighborhoods, potholes, all that is very important. But doing the actual work is not easy. But I promise you one thing tonight. I will always fight for you. I will always represent you. Whatever the needs are, I will bring common sense and real leadership to District 4.
Thank you, Ted. And next is Attell.
Recently, a resident asked me if serving as a city councilor among constant threats and harassment is truly worth it. It is my love and my commitment to helping people that compels me to show up every day for District 5 residents, to fight for you even when it's really hard. My constituent public service record, it's not just strong, it's well documented. I'm not simply present on Tuesday nights. I have been on the ground in every room and neighborhood fighting for you. And now more than ever, we need elected officials who understand that the job is more than keeping our city's lights on and responding to emails. It is also about demanding justice and standing up for our neighbors when we see their rights, safety, and humanity under attack. I know the job I was elected to do, and my record proves I have delivered. So to answer that constituent question, yes, it is 100 worth the price. I ask for your trust and your vote so I can continue that fight for all of District 5.
Thank you, Attell. Thank you. And the last closing statement is from Jose.
In the 2023 election, I came up 168 votes short. So I started door knocking earlier in this election to be able to meet more residents in District 5. I'm happy to have reached close to 8,000 voters. I met a lot of wonderful people, and we had a great conversation about Worcester, District 5, and the direction they would like to see things go. I spoke with Democrats, Independents, and Republicans. Believe it or not, we all wanted the same thing: safe neighborhoods, streets paved, sidewalks and potholes fixed, support our public safety departments, safe schools for our kids, either trees planted or certain dead trees cut down, affordable housing. I can go on and on. As your District 5 counselor, I will never stop listening to people and filing orders that address their concern so we can work towards results. Let's not let pride get in the way of progress. Together we can. It will be an honor to be your customer service representative as your District 5 City Councilor. The differences are clear and voters have a distinct choice. I just ask that they seriously consider me as their next District 5 City Councilor. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Real quickly, I'm Mike McDermott, Executive Editor of the Worcester Telegram and Gazette. Just want to thank everyone involved, the candidates, the moderators, you in the audience. I want to read off a few important dates to remember. October 25th is the voting registration deadline. Early voting at the Public Library, October 25th to 31st, and Election Day, of course, Tuesday, November 4th. 2 weeks from tonight, 7 o'clock, same place. We have our final debate involving candidates for mayor, so I hope to see many of you all there. And until then, have a good night. Bye-bye.